Welcome back to the program. You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And sadly, that is what President Trump has done by instilling his support and belief in House Speaker Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is an establishment rhino, pretending to be a conservative. Just like McCarthy behind him, just like, who was the other one? What's his name? Paul Ryan before that, John Boehner before that. We have not had a House Speaker, a actual real House Speaker, in decades. It's always been the establishment. And once again, President Trump and Mike Johnson are wrong. And how many times? How many times does President Trump have to be stabbed in the back before he realizes that the pain of the knife is pretty severe? I don't know. I don't have that answer. But what happened today in the House was that the House passed the bill for continuing resolution 217 to 215. The only one with half a brain, and actually more than half a brain, was Thomas Massie from Kentucky, who voted no for it. Now remember, we have an extremely tight margin in the House of Representatives. So what I want you to do is I want you to listen to this, and I want you to contact your senators immediately and tell them to vote no on this bill. And I will explain why. On its surface, this bill, phenomenal. Excellent. There's a problem. And here's the problem. There's no guarantees to pay for everything in it. Let me give you a little rundown. Here's a little bit about what this bill entails. So you have extending the Trump tax cuts and Jobs Act. Great, we need that, right? We don't want tax cuts to go up, and then the next thing you know, it's going to hurt the economy, and we're going to have more unemployment, we're going to have higher inflation. So I get that part, okay? No taxes on overtime. Love it, love it, love it. Great idea. Thank you, Wayne Allen Root. No taxes on Social Security. Again, that came from Wayne Allen Root as well. Excellent, excellent idea. Raising the SALT cap is another good idea. No taxes on tips. Of course, the waiters and waitresses and the restaurant industry is certainly going to love that. Lower corporate tax rates. Hey, we would love to have lower corporate tax rates, right? I say in Preserving Liberty that we ought to go to a 0% moratorium for at least 90 days. No penalties, nothing. Just bring the money back into the economy. $4.5 trillion is sitting in offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, the Caribbean, and elsewhere. And so that's part of this bill as well. Lower corporate tax rates, and closed carry interest loophole. All of it sounds great. Sounds wonderful. There's only one problem. There's no money to pay for it. So what does this mean? Well, it's one of those three-card Montes. Look over here, look over there, and we're going to do that over there. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that we are funding the Biden regime's wish list in some respect, even though these are brand new cuts. But we're still stuck on 2024. And so the problem ultimately is there's no money. Because of what Biden and the regime did, there's no money, okay? We're $36 trillion in debt. So in reality, would this work? Absolutely. But it doesn't work now. So what does that mean? Well, if we would actually stop this, not do this type of a bill now, because, I hate to say it, this is more mental masturbation, and it doesn't cut the government like it needs to. Why don't we stop and reverse things around? And how about we wait until DOGE goes through the entire government first? Let them go through every single agency, every single one. Cut as much fat, waste, abuse, corruption, no bid contracts, whatever it may be. Cut it all out. Then, guess what? You're going to have enough money to fund all of the things you want to do here. Unbelievable. So that is my interpretation of this bill. And when you look at it, it looks phenomenal on paper. Hell, we would love to have all this really done, but this isn't real, folks. This is not real. So what I want you to do is I want you to contact your senators, and I want you to tell them, forget about this bill right now. Put the money or whatever you got to do to Doge. Let them hire another 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, hell, 10,000, 20,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000 forensic auditors and unleash them on the federal government. Go through it all. Go through every single agency. There's 438 agencies in the government. Trust me, you can find $5, $6, $7 trillion somewhere in there. And who cares about these left-wing radical extremist judges? There is legal precedent. Thank you to Stephen Miller and, of course, Sean Spicer. And, of course, I must say, Joe Biden as well. So there's legal precedent to be able to fire anyone. Doesn't matter who you are. You can be fired. And these judges should be ignored 100% because guess what? They have no power whatsoever. So that's what I'm saying. Contact your senators and tell them, do not vote for this bill. Do not vote for this bill. This is a terrible bill in the fact that there's no money to guarantee this bill and the funding for it. Does it look great on paper? Sure it does. But hey, that's just a mirage. And that's the important part. So do what you need to do. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was this. Wisconsin is gone apeshit, okay? Tony Evers, the communist governor of Wisconsin. Remember, Trump won Wisconsin. It was very close, but he won Wisconsin. So there are Republicans, there are a lot of conservatives and independents in that state. There's no way that they can sit back and accept this, okay? They are literally saying words like inseminated person instead of pregnant woman. What other crazy stuff? They want to change it to, instead of wife or husband, only using the word spouse. Paternity is changed to patronage. Father is changed to natural parent. Look, we are no longer in the DEI era. It is gone. President Trump signed an executive order telling everyone, get with the program, it's over. And so if Tony Evers doesn't want to comply, very, very simple solution, folks. President Trump, all you have to do is announce immediately, the entire state of Wisconsin will be cut off from the federal government. Everything. 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 That's it. He'll fold like a cheap suit, and he will rescind this bill. You see, being the President of the United States and in charge of the executive branch, you have leverage, and you can use that leverage, that bully pulpit, if you will, to bend people to your will. And it's very simple. You see this? It's called cashish. That's it. They want federal dollars. They obey. Period. End of story. So we'll see what happens. If you're in Wisconsin and you're a conservative, reach out to President Trump, people around him, and let them know that he needs to cut off Wisconsin. That's the best way to do it. Same thing with California. Gavin Newsom, he wants to get all this money, billions of dollars to rebuild California now? Okay, fine. Resign. 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 You and Karen Basshole. Okay? Get both of you out immediately. That's what he ought to do. Say, sure, I'd be happy to give you billions of dollars to reconstruct California. By the way, in our way, with oversight by the Secretary of Interior, of course, and Rick Grinnell watching over all the dollars. But yes, we'll rebuild California. But you, Gavin Newsom and Karen Basshole, need to resign. Okay? You guys resign? No problem. Guess what would happen? California would pressure their governor and Karen Basshole to resign. Why? Because they want to rebuild. And they understand that President Trump is a builder. Oh, gee, wow, what a coincidence. A state needs to be rebuilt, and guess who the president is? A builder. Gee, that's how you do it. You use the leverage of the executive branch to get people to bend to your will. It's really that simple, folks. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. All right, next thing that I was going to cover was this. So I'm loving this U.S. Attorney Ed Martin. Just awesome. He's going after so many people. He's got an open investigation into Chucky Schumer. He's got an open investigation into that freak on social media that admitted that she hasn't paid taxes in 8 years and then said that she wants to, kill Elon and all this. He's already on her. And even better yet, he's on Jackoff Smith as well. And we already know today President Trump signed an executive order just completely stripping all the security clearances of anyone from the Washington, D.C. law firms that helped him pro bono, by the way, $140,000 worth of pro bono legal work to go after President Trump. So now Ed Martin put on X tonight to @Jack Smith. Save your receipts. Smith and Covington will be in touch soon. Hashtag, no one is above the law. So that's good because it looks like Jack Smith is going to be targeted for prosecution very soon. Next on the list is this one here. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Where is it? Nope, not that one. We'll get to that one here in just a second. Okay, wait a minute. Where is it? Here it is. So this is highly, highly disturbing information. Republicans have introduced legislation called the No Tax Dollars for Terrorists Act. Yes, that is not a Babylon Bee headline. That is for real. And yes, your government has been funding the people that want you dead. That's correct. Okay? Listen what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say right here. I need to get her back on the show.
After the terror attack in 9/11. Since then, over 2,500 U.S. military members have been killed in Afghanistan. The Taliban is the current reigning government and has current control over Afghanistan. To find out that $40 million in cash payments per week are being delivered to the Taliban is an outrage that the American people will not tolerate, they will not stand for. 72% of Americans, that's across the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, fully support major spending cuts, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse in our federal government. Americans work too hard for the money.
Okay, the rest, she talks about Doge and everything else. She just said that there is now proof that your federal government, you know, the ones that's supposed to support you and your security and love you and take care of you and all that, nope. They are funding 40, what was it? Was it 40,000 or 40 million? Let me rewind that.
Payments per week is an outrage to the American people. The United States went into Afghanistan in 2001 after Afghanistan refused to hand over Osama bin Laden after the terror attack in 9/11.
Here it is.
Since then, over 2,500 U.S. military members have been killed in Afghanistan. The Taliban is the current reigning government and has current control over Afghanistan. To find out that $40 million in cash payments per week.
$40 million in cash payments per week. Let that sink in for a second. Your federal government is giving a sworn enemy of the United States, a terrorist organization that has killed over 2,500 Americans, including 13 during the disastrous pullout of Afghanistan, not to mention the 14,000 Americans / contractors, interpreters, and other people that were left behind to be slaughtered by these throat slitters in dirty nightshirts. 40 million a week? 40 million a week. That is treason, okay? That is U.S. Code 18-2381. And that should be punishable by life in prison or you know what, even worse, okay? And to think that our government has been doing that for years, that kind of money, it's unbelievable. It's literally shocking. Let's hope and pray that not only does it stop, but these people that were allocating this money, they all need to go to jail and they need to be charged with treason. And that's probably your whole entire government, sadly. So that was a shocking one. And then this is interesting. I don't really know what to make of this, but look, there's been this whole debate about the H-1B, the visas and all this other stuff, and having foreign workers, Trump, Elon, they want foreign workers. Bannon says no. Others say no. I want to get all the illegals out of the country, obviously, and then I want to see Americans take over a lot of those jobs. I don't believe this garbage about who's going to pick your lettuce, who's going to do that. You're basically advocating for the fact that illegal aliens are supposed to take jobs from Americans. That's what Stephen Miller said to, I don't remember who it was, someone on CNN like a week ago. So you're advocating for the fact that you actually are saying that we should allow illegals to continue to pick our crops and all that. He pointed that out. And I'm pointing that out as well. But the reality is there are Americans that will do these jobs. And then some. And so President Trump is going to eliminate a certain immigration program and replace it with something called a gold card. So the only thing I can think of is you can call it Immigration Express. Don't leave your home country without it. Let me play this for you.
Something else that's going to be very, very good. We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful. Never been done before or anything like this, but it's something that we're going to be putting out over the next, would you say 2 weeks out? Do you want to say a couple of words about it?
The president said rather than having this sort of ridiculous EB-5.
This is Howard Lutnick, the new Secretary of Commerce. I actually like this guy. He's a badass.
Program. We're going to end the EB-5 program. We're going to replace it with the Trump Gold Card, which is really a green card gold. So they'll be able to pay $5 million to the U.S. government. They'll have to go through vetting, of course. We're going to make sure they're wonderful, world-class, global citizens. They can come to America. The president can give them a green card, and they can invest in America, and we can use that money to reduce our deficit. Why do we give out lotteries of green cards? Why do we give out EB-5 for green cards? The president of the United States understands that the right answer is why don't we eliminate the deficit of the United States of America instead?
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. It's possible. They're not quite as wealthy as they used to be. They're not as wealthy as they used to be. I think they can afford $5 million.
So that's interesting. So what he's basically doing, which I think is interesting, and I actually kind of like, instead of just giving green cards out to any Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes here either without a job or maybe they're a university student or they're a foreign exchange student, and who knows? Maybe they're smart, maybe they have brains. It doesn't matter. What are you going to do when you get here Yeah, you're going to be educated? Okay, well, great. Then what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to your country with your education and start your business somewhere else? Or are you going to come here? So in some respects, if you eliminate all of those people, all of those green card recipients, and you only have a very small amount of people, and again, it's going to be a small amount of people because there's a $5 million buy-in for it. That's why they're calling it the gold card, right? So if that was to be the case, they come in, they start a business here, they bring their capital here, they bring their money here, they're vetted, as they said, and then they can hire Americans to work in their company. So that's going to help the economy. They're going to be paying taxes, and it's going to create more jobs. So from that standpoint, I think it's a good policy. I really, truly do. And as long as it gets rid of everything else, get rid of the carrots, get rid of the visa lottery, get rid of the wet foot, dry foot, get rid of the, bring all your uncles and cousins and nephews and roommates and, third uncles and all this other crap. Get rid of all that. Then if you can have a certain small amount of professional business people that are loaded, that are going to create jobs, I don't really see a problem with it. Honestly, I don't. As long as you get rid of all these illegal aliens out of the country and you make sure that you have safeguards so they can't come back. I think that's important. Now, the other thing is Kash Patel. We all want these investigations and indictments and, perp walks to happen. Okay, I want it to happen. I said it in the last show that I just did. And, we're all chomping at the bit. Get it done, get it done, get it done. The thing we have to understand is that we are not Kash Patel. We are not in the intelligence community. We have not watched firsthand all of these criminals up close and personal. We've heard about them from reports and in the news, and I've talked about it, and others have talked about it, and that's fine. But in reality, we don't know what is in Kash Patel's mind that he is going to prosecute first. Well, I think we are starting to understand where he's going to go. He's not going to look at what's happening right now. No. He's going to start in the beginning. And that's why he has opened up an investigation into James Comey. That's right. Your new FBI director is going to be prosecuting an old FBI director. So let's just be patient as best we can. I'm not patient, but let's be a little bit patient. It's going to be a slow burn. There's going to be certain things that are going to be happening. And of course, we have all these judges trying to get in the way, but in the end, they're not going to be successful. Remember, we still have almost 4 years left. What is it, 3 years? And it's only been 36 days. So, 3 years and 11 months or whatever the hell it is, okay? So we got plenty of time. But as I said before, there's two things we must do. Number one, election integrity before the midterm elections. Number two, we need to make sure that we get these Doge cuts permanent. And what we ought to be doing is we ought to be increasing the amount of people that are working for Doge so that we can hit these agencies so much quicker and faster, so that we can find as much fraud, waste, and abuse as humanly possible. And then, and only then, do we pass a new House bill that actually can have the funding in place in order to facilitate the cuts we need. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.